The question in today's video is what is socially acceptable and what's socially not acceptable? But we're going to be leading more into what's socially not acceptable in Germany. Let me know in the comments down below. We're going to be going through 10 of the things that are definitely not socially acceptable, what I've learned over the years as far as, why that is a thing. And then, of course, going through the explanations and stuff. But let's not waste any time. Make sure you subscribe and also catch me live on twitch.tv/JamesBraygang. Link will be in the description down below. So the first one here is jaywalking. So, we obviously know that, the culture in Germany is people follow the rules, this, that, the third. And more often than not, jaywalking is something that is super frowned upon. I actually have a story. I asked one of my friends that, visited Germany when he was a little bit younger. I mean, it was one of his earlier military assignments. And, him and his wife were walking across the street. There were no cars in sight. My friend's from New York. It is very common in cities in America, and I'm pretty sure even across the world, to just walk across the street when there's no cars. I mean, in Korea, it's the same thing. You don't see any cars, and you don't see any cars or bikes or whatever during a red light. You walk across the street while you can, because at the end of the day, at least here, a lot of drivers treat the traffic signs as suggestions and not actual law, which is crazy. They're there for a reason. But anyways, he crossed the street with his wife, and then all of a sudden he's getting yelled at by this, German police officer, just getting yelled at, dug into. The police officer runs over to him, yells at him, tells him why him and his wife shouldn't have, walked across the street in broad daylight, even though there were no cars in sight at all, and tore him up. He told me about it. He's like, dude, I didn't know they were like that anal about their laws here and stuff like that. But I'm like, dude, yeah. They are. They definitely are. So if you guys have any similar experiences to that, let me know in the comments down below. So right here, it says, if you walk around cities in Germany, you'll be quick to notice that most pedestrians patiently wait for traffic lights to turn green, even if there are no cars in sight. So I think the thing is, a lot of people have places to go, things to do. I mean, in every stretch of that term, right? And sometimes if there's no cars, there's no whatever. I'll give you guys an example. Do I jaywalk? All the time. I jaywalk all the time. I walk to work. It takes about an hour and a half to get to work. I live in the city in Seoul, Korea, and basically when I'm walking to work and stuff at night, there are hardly any cars on the road. It's just me, maybe one or two cars total in the night, So there are a lot of red lights. Do I wait for the light to turn green? No, because that takes up maybe 3 to 5 minutes of my time standing there. I walk across the street. I look both ways. I make sure I'm aware of my surroundings, and then I walk because I save time. Now, if that's something you guys do, which I have heard mixed responses, let me know in the comments down below, because I've always, when I heard this fun fact, right, initially, I'm like, oh man, that's crazy. Like, y'all are like robots. But then I realized not everybody does that. A lot of people are starting to not do that. You know what I mean? A lot of people are just walking across the street. The thing is, the biggest tip that I received from a lot of people in Germany is, if you are going to do it, make sure there's no children around, make sure no one else is around to see you do it. So, in a normal situation where you're jaywalking, it'll just be you looking out for cars and bikes, things that could run you over. But now in this scenario, you're adding a third plane onto your situation, and you're looking out for people that may possibly judge the heck out of you, yell at you, give you a lecture as to why you shouldn't have done that. So look out for police officers, look out for little omas, look out for anybody that's actively watching you. You know what I mean? Is there anybody around that could see you commit such a crazy act? No? All right, cool. You can keep moving on. So next one. Oh, there's a €5 fine apparently. But there's, in some states in America, you can get fined for jaywalking. No one gets fined for jaywalking, by the way, unless the cop is incredibly bored. Recycling wrongly. Now, this is something that I feel like is very easy to do. Another example, I am here in Korea, and I admittedly have not recycled properly. Why? It is a very complicated process. Now, for people who, that natively live here, even for them, they don't even be recycling that. I mean, they do recycle, but a lot of times they mess it up too. So doesn't make two wrongs don't make a right, obviously. But what this prompt says right here is Germany takes recycling very seriously. I've caught a giant whiff of that. I remember talking about how I didn't care about the planet, jokingly in a video, and I got tore up in the comment section. So totally understand that. But what is great for the environment often causes confusion among tourists and people who are new to Germany. There's a saying I have, right? And it's people will go to where the water flows easiest, right? Meaning people will take the path of least resistance. If it takes 3 to 12, 13 extra steps to throw out garbage, guess what most people are going to do? They're going to throw it in the most convenient spot. If the recycling bin is the closest trash bin, quote unquote, to you, while you have like a bag of McDonald's, half-eaten McDonald's, well, people are more likely to throw their garbage in a recycling bin than, just wait and look for a waste bin that you can throw your food waste in. And that happens here in Korea, happens in the United States, and I'm sure to some degree in some places in Germany, it probably happens there too. But I will say this, I know Germany goes hard in the paint when it comes to recycling. Korea does too. Even though I just mentioned what I previously mentioned, Korea goes pretty crazy when it comes to recycling. I think they have 5 different types of recycling. And, you'll see a lot of, when you type in Korea garbage system, right, you'll see piles of trash on random street corners. And you're like, Korea doesn't have it together. It's not necessarily, it doesn't look organized, but there's a method to the madness. And I call it organized chaos here. There's these little, they're like sheds almost. There's like a few different looking sheds. Like I call them trash sheds, and they're on various parts of the street corners in Korea. And that's basically the trash collection point. And there's 3 to 5 different areas of trash that you can throw your trash in, and it's pretty cool. Makes it pretty streamlined, makes it pretty easy. Now, one thing that Korea does that I don't think Germany does, and you guys can let me know in the comments down below if I'm wrong. When you throw out certain trash, you have to use different types of bags. Now, I do understand Germany does that, but here it's to the point where the bag has to have your city's code on it. So I live in a city called Pyeongtaek, right, in Korea. And if the bag doesn't say Pyeongtaek on it, they won't take the trash. The trash will just be sitting there forever. Now, if the bag does say Pyeongtaek on it, then this city will take the trash because that's its jurisdiction for that type of trash. You know what I mean? So if you have like a regular bag of trash or a bag of trash from a different city in Korea, they're not going to take it if you're in the wrong city. So I'm not sure if it's that organized in Germany, but hey, let me know. Once you've got the hang of it, though, it makes sense. Most households have some different colored dustbins for general waste, plastics, paper, and cardboard, and organic waste. Empty glass bottles are taken to larger containers located in each neighborhood, sorted by the brown, white, and green glass. Light bulbs, batteries, electronics, and old furniture are recycled separately as well. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, moving on to the next one, things that are not socially acceptable is obviously showing the Nazi salute. I mean, you can't do that. That was something that was one of the first pieces of advice my friend gave me after he came back from Germany and whatnot. He's like, hey, man, I know you like to joke around and stuff like that. I know a lot of people like to joke around, but the one thing you cannot joke around, is about the Nazi salute. You cannot jokingly do a Nazi salute ever. No matter what the context is, you cannot do a Nazi salute, bro. Like, people will tear you up. People will beat you up, bro. They might beat you up. They might, they'll get in your face and you can get fined for it, I'm pretty sure. Now, as a tourist, I'm not sure how that works, but I do know as a tourist, you get severe backlash for doing that. Not sure if that still holds up now. I could imagine it does, but y'all let me know. What would happen now in today's day and age? You see like a foreigner do like a Nazi salute, as a joke or something in like a bar or something. What would happen? Let me know. Showing the Nazi salute or any Nazi symbol, flag, or slogan for that matter is prohibited. It's not only considered gravely offensive, but it's outright illegal. Any violation can result in steep fines and up to 5 years in prison if you're caught. Yeah, I wouldn't even bark up this tree, bro. It's not worth it. Whatever joke you got that involves this, it's not worth it. Not worth it. So don't do it. The next one is throwing out bottles. It's not. It's so this right here is socially acceptable, or actually, this is not socially acceptable. You don't just throw bottles out, right? I mean, I feel like people can be indifferent, but for the most part, it is primarily socially unacceptable to just throw bottles out without using the Pfand system. So the German Pfand system is another stroke of genius in the effort of reducing waste. When you buy drinks in glass and plastic bottles or soda cans, an additional 8 to 25 cents per bottle is added to your bill to encourage you to return the empties to you at the next stop instead of throwing them into a bin. Shops that sell drinks are obliged to accept empty bottles, whether they were initially bought at the same store or not, which makes the system highly efficient. Now, here's one thing I learned about the Pfand system that was very interesting. I was under the impression that when you put your bottle in those machines, the machines accept any plastic bottle, any glass bottle. That's not the case. They accept certain types of plastic bottles, certain types of glass bottles. And I was like, oh, dang. I thought they took every little thing. I guess like it's like different brands of bottles almost, or different types of bottles based on like where you're at. So that's something that's interesting to note, because I thought that you could just bring any kind of bottle and boom, you know. Now it might have changed, but that was advice and information I was given a few years ago. Not sure how accurate it is now, but you guys can let me know in the comments down below. Now, let's move on. Next one is, these are the little Pfand systems like this. Oh, man, they're very efficient. And it looks so clean. That's what I admire. Shockingly, I thought that a lot of Germany would look like Berlin. You know what I'm saying? Dirty. Dirty. But it doesn't. It's very clean. I mean, look how immaculate this shot is right here. Looks nice. All right. So another thing that is not socially acceptable is driving in the middle lane on the Autobahn. The prospect of driving on the German Autobahn for the first time is often met with excitement. However, there are strict rules in place that regulate the driving. Know the speed limit, keep your distance to the cars in front of you, and stay in the right lane. That's the same in the States. Stick to the right lane if you are not speeding. If there's 2 lanes, stick to the right lane. If there are 3 lanes, I guess you can stick to the middle if you plan on just like not moving for a while. But the right or the middle lane in America is like, socially acceptable to be in. If you're in the left lane and you just cruise in the left lane, you are a special type of horrible human being. Driving on the left or middle lane and the Autobahn can cause serious road rage among other drivers, as these are used to overtake slower vehicles in front of you. I didn't know the middle lane was used for overtaking. You can overtake people in the middle lane in Germany. That's some new shit. I did not know that. Did not know that. And that's crazy. So this is a really good image to kind of capture what we just talked about. Now, this lane right here and this lane right here are the lanes you don't want to be in if you're just cruising. So if you're cruising, you just want to stick to the right lane. I thought the right lane, I mean, it's different, obviously, but I was assuming that the right lane would be for people who are merging onto an exit or something. You know what I mean? But I guess these are the 2 passing lanes. So this is if you're going a little bit faster. And the left lane is strictly for sure for passing. My question to you guys is, can you cruise in the middle lane? It seems like you probably could, but can you? I know it says otherwise here, but maybe this article is wrong and y'all can let me know. So moving down, being late. Yeah, being late is frowned upon. We don't really have to dive into that too much. I mean, Germany as a whole country and stuff has a society that is a very punctual culture. That's the stereotype. But more and more over the years and stuff like that, people are coming out and saying, well, nah, it's not really like that to that extent. People make up this like, oh, we're always on time. We're always on time. That's not always the case, but it is emphasized way more in Germany to be on time, to be punctual. It's disrespectful if you are not on time. If there's a meeting and you're late to the meeting, or you have to go to someone's event, or if you're just meeting up with friends and you're late to meeting up with some friends, they can take that as like a disrespectful thing. You know, people are punctual. People take time out of their days to plan things. Now, that being said, I've said it a million times, I'm a person that is fashionably late. I'm either fashionably late or incredibly early. I show up 30 minutes early, an hour early, or I show up 30 minutes to an hour late. I'm almost never on time. That's just how I am. And since I know this, I normally arrive to locations I'm supposed to be at 30 minutes to an hour early, i.e. work. So that is, my whole little spiel on that. You guys let me know how valuable punctuality is to you. Maybe it's not that valuable, but boom, enter a home wearing shoes. Now this right here, you got to be a goblin. You have to be a goblin if you do this. If you enter a home, I'm not saying you walk inside and, you're in the first couple steps of the house, because that's where you take your shoes off, obviously. I'm saying if you walk through the kitchen, through your bedroom, and you chill on your bed with shoes on, you are a goblin. All right. You're a mythical creature that shouldn't exist. Because why? What possessed you to think that walking around in the house with shoes on was okay? Okay. Your shoes have been tracking outside, dirt, grime, all kinds of shiznit. No, that just doesn't work. Now, there are very few situations where I can kind of see wearing shoes in the house as all right, cool. Like if you're quickly going to grab something, if you're doing some work and stuff, you need to grab a tool and it's too inconvenient for you to take the shoes off, obviously that might be more okay than just walking through the house with shoes on and chilling. But even still, it's still an icky feeling. It's still socially unacceptable. I'm pretty sure that's a universal thing. Maybe not in America, because I've learned over the last few years that it definitely was a popular thing for people to walk around with their shoes on. Matter of fact, I didn't just learn in the last few years. Growing up, I noticed in certain households and stuff, people would just be wearing their shoes throughout the entire house. No one cared. And I was like, what? That's why your carpet's dirty. The fuck? Weird. So, wearing slippers is a good alternative. It says it right here. You might even be handed a pair of slippers to wear instead. That's a good alternative if you really want something on your feet that bad. Don't wear shoes in the house. Just keep it simple. Slippers. Walk in bicycle lanes. Now this right here, I've actually seen video footage of people being tilted, seeing individuals, specifically foreigners or anybody, walking in bicycle lanes. They're there for a reason, right? Bikes don't have a whole lot of places they can go without being targets. So at least they are offered this general grace, right? Having a bike lane, something that they can travel on, that most people should not be on. But you have ignorant people that don't understand what bike lanes are, and thus causes some chaos and confusion like this. So don't be surprised by angry cyclists ringing their bells and hurling abuse at you if you ignore the rules, because it shows you. We might not speak German. We might not speak Russian. We might not speak, a dialect of either of those languages, or even you throw some Turkish in there. We know a lot of people might not even speak Turkish, but we all speak picture. Okay. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that this symbol right here is a bike symbol. This whole lane is red. So you can put two and two together. Somebody with the smoothest brain could put together that this is a bike lane. A bike lane. Now, if you really want more imagery, you could put another sign that says no walking on this lane, bikes only, right? But that's too complicated. This is the simplest way to communicate. This is strictly for bikes. All right. Anyways, moving on. Addressing strangers with their first names. That's a little, So that makes sense that would be disrespectful. I think what would be even more disrespectful is calling strangers by a nickname, and you haven't even met the person before. You just give them a nickname and boom, you run with it. So if this is already a thing where it's like, oh dude, first names, I don't know you like that, why are you calling me by my first name? Imagine how people would feel if they were called a nickname off the rip, but by somebody that doesn't even know them, right? Like, how would you feel if somebody walked up to you? It's like, oh, what's up, Ducky? How's it going? And you're like, Ducky? I don't know you like that. What? Like, oh, here's a better example. If everybody calls you, if your name is Robert and everybody calls you Bob as your nickname, right? And then a random person, I should say, if all your friends call you Bob as a nickname and a random person walks up to you and calls you Bob, you might look at them funny because it's like, I don't know you like that. Don't ever call me that unless we've established a relationship of some sort. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird. So I get that. So Germans differentiate between a formal and informal you. That depends on the situation, whether or not your counterpart expects you to address them by their last name or the formal pronoun sie, or if the first name and du is sufficient. So like I said, I feel like this only applies to professional environments like schools and businesses, things like that. But that also is like in the US too. It's like disrespectful to call people by their first name in a professional environment. Like if you're in school, you don't call your teacher, yo, what's up, Jackson? Or like, you don't call like, yo, what's up, Tyler, what's going on, Tyler? But Tyler's like Mr. Crocker or something like that, and you're like, you call Mr. Crocker by his first name, and it's like, oh, what's up, Tyler? Like, bro, it's disrespectful as fuck. Or like, your boss, or even coworkers, like you address them, generally speaking, to keep it professional, by their last names. But times are changing. Maybe that's no longer a thing. Who knows? Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. That's not like unreasonable. You know what I mean? I don't know a lot of things. So obviously this we don't have to get too much into, but singing the first verse of the national anthem in Germany, we all know why you can't do that. That's just, it's messed up. Come on. Weimar Republic type beat. Just, yeah. Getting on the public transportation without a ticket. It's dishonest. Don't do it. If you don't have the funds to pay for your trip, just don't do it. Because at some point, you're going to get billed. You're going to get caught. You might get arrested. There's an honor system in Germany that I was like, bro, I'm surprised people haven't, used and, misused the system, because being that it's available. You know what I mean? So Chicago, New York, any major city in America, and any place anywhere, for the most part, you have to pay before you get on a train. So for me to take a train or a bus, I have to present my my bad. I have to present my bus card. I pay, I get on. I don't pay, I don't get on. So in Germany, you get on the train first, and then you pay when you're on the train. But this also leaves room for people who have not paid or who did not have a train ticket to get on the train as well and ride on the train with the hope that they won't be recognized as someone who hasn't paid. So that can be a problem. Not sure if that's a big deal, but you guys let me know. And let's move on to the next one. If there is another next one, this could be the last one on here. Yeah. Speaking English and expecting no one to understand. We've gone over this before, obviously. And to wrap this up, everybody understands English over there. Assume that everybody in Germany understands English. They might not be able to speak the best English, but here's the thing. More of Germany, I'd say over 50% of Germany knows how to speak good English, like great English. You know what I mean? Obviously, Germans are really hard on themselves when it comes to their English, but their English is phenomenal. Don't say crazy shit in English, all right? Or any other language, but like definitely English. Everybody will understand you. If you think they don't understand you, they will. And you'll be in for a rude awakening. So disrespect quiet hours. Your boy, I think you all know the incident that happened here. I had a dispute with my neighbors upstairs with the whole quiet thing. We don't really have quiet hours here in Korea, but peace and quiet is definitely valued. I have a deep voice. It's loud and it carries. So the chances are that people have heard this entire video being filmed for the last 20 5 minutes. Yeah. So I guess in Germany as well, if I ever move out there, I definitely have to worry about not making videos at a certain time as well. That's new to me, new to me. So anyways, out of all these things, let me know which ones were near and dear to your precious heart. And as per usual, that's enough internet for today.